Welcome to another edition of Small Talk for You. This morning I wanted to go through a little bit about build automation. I've covered this topic before in VisualWorks, but I wanted to focus in on the specific aspects of connecting to a store repository, loading code of a specific blessing policy level, and then disconnecting, all without having to bring up the tools. I mean, normally, if you were in development, you would go ahead here, connect to one of these repositories, and then go ahead and select through the list to get what you want. But if you're doing builds, you don't want to do any of that. So what I've got here is a browser. You see I don't have anything in here called counter, and that's what we're going to load. First, we're going to go to the repository manager. We're going to find one named local. So we're going to search against all the names of all the things I've got defined. So this kind of assumes that you've got profiles set up. I'm going to leave it as an exercise to the user as to how to get profiles. You can save them as XML files, and there's an API in this system to go ahead and load those. You can figure that out. Then what you want to do is set your loading policy to latest. And this is for prerequisites. Normally when you're doing builds, you want to set the prerequisite policy so that you don't have it interrupted by dialog boxes coming up. If you want to do an automated build, last thing you want is dialog boxes, so you want to specify something for that. Then you want to ensure some blessing policy information. So we're going to come down here and we're going to say that we want to get the default blessing. So if you do this, you go ahead and inspect this, you'll find that the default blessing happens to be 20. Now that doesn't mean much. So if we just highlight this part here and find the blessing policies, you'll find the default blessing is 20, the blessings are these, and you notice that you've got names, development linked to 20, internal release linked to 80. So the numbers actually link back to the names. And you can look either way, but I've just gone ahead and used the numbers. So what we're going to do is go into the repository, get all the versions with the name counter, and select based on that blessing policy. So we want to get the one we have to the top of the list without having to worry about all the ones that are marked at a level that we don't want to load. We don't want to load things marked work in progress or obsolete or broken. So we just want to get anything basically from development on up. So we're going to sort that down. And then we're going to have a little bit of sanity check. The version we want is the first one, or nil if it's empty. And then if it's nil, just report to the transcript, hey, couldn't find anything. Or if not nil, go ahead and load source. And this is the heart of this. If you have a version that you've retrieved this way, you can go ahead and just tell it to load from the repository, and then at the bottom, you just disconnect. So if I highlight all this, you'll see that this actually runs pretty quick. Now, of course, it's running against a SQLite repository, so you'd expect it to be pretty quick. So we'll do it here. And you see that you didn't get a dialog, or in VisualWorks 7.8, normally you get that little highlighter at the top of the window. Since we're doing this from a script, we don't get any of that. But if we come back to the browser, you notice it's refreshed. I scroll down, and there's my package. So we loaded that in, and this is really the heart of how to do an automated build using store. You just wrap script around this to make sure that you come back with something that makes sense based on all the things you want. So you have a list, or you have a master bundle, or whatever it is, and you just load it. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with whatever small talk you're using.